Hi, back again. At the end of ThrillerAthon now. It's been 9 days, I believe. 8 days, maybe. I lost count. Don't have my knife with me this time. Some stuff might have got on it. Can't show that to you guys. Evidence and all that. But anyways, the end of ThrillerAthon now. And I'm going to be wrapping up the books that I read for ThrillerAthon.
Young man from Woonsocket had a watch and a chain and a locket.
I had an amazing ThrillerAthon. It's probably my favorite readathon I've done this year, and I've done like 4 or something. I've done a lot of them, and I do have one more coming soon in September, but this is my favorite one so far. I read a total of, I'll just divvy it up after I do this because I literally forgot. I was reading every single day. It was just so fun. I read so much. It just was amazing. It was the perfect time for this. I'm so thankful to the host of this readathon for giving me the opportunity to read all these freaking thrillers. Now, thrillers are my favorite genre. I can say that without a doubt. Fantasy novels I always love and have a place in my heart for because there are things that I love about fantasy that aren't anywhere else. But thrillers are just me. Like, they're a part of me. I connect so well with them. I cried on like every single thriller that I read this during this readathon except for one of them. Except for one of them. 2 of them. No, one of them. So, let's just get into this. I'm going to be talking about the books I read in order of the prompt/challenges that they gave us. It was a bingo board. I'll put it up. I'll remember to edit it in, and I did definitely get some bingos because I saw most people like picked multiple books for multiple things. I picked like a different book for everyone, and I'm just going to talk about it today, so we're getting a little bit far off track, but let me just start with these books that I read and tell you about what I liked about them and all that. So the first prompt was the oldest thriller on your TBR, which was Night Film by Marisha Pessl. I love this book so much. It was like 600 pages. I read it all in a day, and I loved it so freaking much. It just was so good. Like, it's called Night Film. It's about this reporter who is like estranged or whatever because he tried to go after this very well-known horror director, and he basically like said something about him in an interview or something that was like a personal attack, and now he's like messing up or whatever. But now all of a sudden his daughter's dead, and his daughter dies. The horror director's daughter dies, and the reporter thinks that something is amiss, that it was not a suicide like everybody thinks it was. So he sets off on this journey to find out what really happened, and teams up with this this girl named Nora and this boy named Hopper, and they like team up and try and find out what's going on. And it was so freaking good. Like, it was so good. It's like multimedia because there were like pictures and like transcripts and stuff like that. If you have the app, I've heard that there was an app that goes along with it that you can like bring the pictures and stuff to life. Didn't know about it until after. And I didn't have the actual book either. I read all these books on ebook and one half on audiobook. So it was just, I think I'm going to start really reading ebooks now because I used to shun them, which is dumb because I used to read like Wattpad books every day. I shunned them because I love having a bookshelf and actual books to read. But at the same time, love me some ebooks because they're just so easy to read. You just scroll on your phone and you're already on your phone all the time. Maybe. And it's just easy for me to read. But anyway, yes, so I really enjoyed it. It was 5 out of 5 stars for sure. I cried several times. It was just so good. It threw me for so many loops, and I loved every single one of them. It was just done so well. It's so mysterious and so amazing, and I loved it a lot. So that challenge is passed for me. I did not fail. I succeeded. The next prompt that I did was an author you've read before, which I picked Gillian Flynn. I had just read Gone Girl a month ago or something, and I picked Dark Places by Gillian Flynn. So, this book, 5 out of 5 stars, it was even better than Night Film. Like, it was just beautiful. It had, like, stuff in it that I literally loved, like tropes in it that I loved, and just the whole subject matter, and in the end, it just came full circle, and it was beautiful, and I am obsessed with it. Like, every time I think about it, I'm just like, wow. Like, I was just sobbing at the end, because it was just so freaking beautiful. What they did with that book was just literally amazing. Gillian Flynn is a freaking genius. Like, her characters are they're so complex, and like they're not one-sided or one-dimensional at all. They have so many layers, and it's just beautiful to watch them unfold, and I freaking loved it so much. The next prompt was a thriller with a trope that you love. The trope I chose was like a mom and son relationship, and I chose the book A Good Enough Mother by Beth Thomas, and it definitely delivered. For the first half, I was like, I read it on audiobook for the first half of it because I couldn't find it in an ebook, and I read it on audiobook like at 4 a.m. and it was just like super creepy. I was getting chills. I was literally getting like scared. Like, It was creepy. The vibe of the book and the narrator was just really creeping me out. It was really good though. Like, it was perfect vibe for me. And then I woke up the next morning, because I definitely did get sleep that night. I woke up the next morning and then read the rest on ebook, and it was just so enjoyable. It was like, at first I really was having doubts about it being up to my standards, because I thought it was going to be something that it wasn't. But then it ended up being what I wanted and more. Like, it was so much more than all I thought it was going to be, and it was so much more of a well-rounded type of story than like the surface of what you think it's going to be. And it just really like was introspective for me. Like, it really taught me a lot about myself, and maybe like look inside myself or whatever, you know, soul searching type thing. It was just so good. I cried a lot. I like really felt like the main character. It's about this woman who's a psychotherapist, and her son went missing like a year ago or something, and this boy comes in who's like the same age as her son, as a client of hers. Same age, they look alike and everything. They have different names though, obviously because they're different people, but she just starts warring with herself on whether to be a therapist to him or more like a mom, and it's just beautiful. Like, read the freaking book. It's kind of slow, especially in the beginning, but trust me, you're going to want to finish it. Like, you're going to want to push through and to the end and read it all, and it was beautiful, and I cried. The next prompt was a host favorite book, Sweetpea by C.J. Scoose, and I did not get around to reading this because my library didn't have it. I couldn't find it an ebook online, and I couldn't find it as an audiobook either. So I just was like, forget it. I'm just gonna continue down the line of stuff to do. So sorry I could not read that. Yeah, so sorry I could not read that. I will be reading it in the future. It sounds really interesting, as you know, about this girl. People call her Sweetpea. Apparently, she's like a serial killer, and she hates people or whatever. Like, she's like a sociopath or something, but she knows how to act normal in real life. So it sounds really interesting to me, and people said it was really funny and dark, humorous, and like just messed up, and I can't wait to read it. But I did not get around to it this time, so that the challenge was failed. The next prompt was your most anticipated thriller, which was The Girlfriend by Michelle Francis. I have been anticipating this thriller since I saw it in Target like months ago, and y'all, it let me down. Like, 4-star read, which seems like it's not that much of a letdown because it was a good book, but the star that I took off was part of the end. Like, the end was so rushed. It's about, the book is marketed as like this mother-in-law, this daughter-in-law, soon to be, because the son is in love with the girl, and basically it's like the three of them, like their dynamic or whatever, and like the girl wants to be rich and stuff. She's not really rich or whatever. She wants the mom's life. So it's just like, you know what it is going into it, but then it ends up being like way more. It's just like, it was good. It was good. I definitely enjoyed myself, but then the end just really fell flat. It was like super rushed. It was like the climax, epilogue. I was just like, what the, and then the book ended. I was like I had no closure at all, and it made me cry several times because it really felt for the main character, Laura, who is, there are 2 point of views, well 3. It's like totally third person, and it falls between Laura, who is the mother-in-law, the daughter-in-law, Cherry, and then the son, forgot his name. But basically, it just really ended up falling flat. I mean, freaking ending was just like, and then I had to like cry over Laura because I loved her the most. And it was just, I don't know, it really made me mad. That wasn't what made me like knock off a star, but still. It made me mad, mostly because it was my most anticipated one and ended up falling flat. Anyway. The next prompt is newest thriller on your TBR, which was The Woman in the Window by A.J. Flynn, and I loved this book. I really enjoyed it. 5 out of 5 stars for sure. It was a great mystery. I enjoyed myself a lot reading this book. It threw me for a lot of loops. It seemed like it's slow, but like it's not really slow. It's kind of like a slow burn type of thing where it's like keeps building up to like greater things, and like there were some twists in here that literally just like sent me flying like around my house, around the room. It was just amazing. It was great. I loved every twist, loved the characters. It was just amazingly done, and I really enjoyed myself. I was like second guessing my entire existence while reading this book, which is what I love to do, which is what I did with Night Film 2, which is another reason why I loved it so much. So just like I really enjoyed myself. That one is about a woman who is agoraphobic, which means that you're like confined to your house because you can't leave, because it's like a anxiety thing. Like you really start like PTSD, like having PTSD because of something that happened outside or something that made you basically unable to go outside anymore. And so she watches people through her window, and then she witnesses something that's like really messed up, and it goes from there. And y'all read it. It's freaking breathtaking. The next prompt was a new to you thriller author, and there was basically just a thriller author that I have not read yet, which is none of them, because I have not really read any thrillers other than Gone Girl and My Sister Rosa as far as thrillers go. So like I could have picked anybody, but I picked The Wife Between Us by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Buchanan. And this book, I'm still like on the fence on whether to give it a 5-star or a 4-star because I did enjoy it, but it's still like kind of lost on me. It's kind of like whatever. I mean, it was a good book. I don't know, like it was a good book for sure. I don't know. I guess I'll leave it at 4 stars now just because it's not really memorable enough for me to put it at 5. Like whatever. The next prompt was the shortest thriller on your TBR, and that was All the Beautiful Lies by Peter Swanson. I freaking DNF'd this book. I was reading this last night because I'm filming this the day ThrillerAthon ended because I finished my last book early. But this book really made me upset. Like, I was so excited to read this book. I was so excited. It's about, the blurb says, it's about this stepmom who, and then this stepmom, stepson, and then this random other woman. And basically, her husband, the stepmom's husband, dies. And then the stepson and her start getting closer and stuff, and it's like weird and like awkward or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, sounds great. I can't wait to read this. I was so let down. It was, the characters were so emotionless. They had like one-word responses for every single thing. I felt no emotional attachment to any of them. So when stuff happened, I was just like, oh. Like, it was just, I was halfway through the book, and I'm not going to spoil it, but it was just like, I expected something from it, and then it ended up giving me the opposite of it, and it was just like false advertising. Like, they completely marketed it wrong. Anyway, I'm just very upset by this book. It really made me upset, and I'm mad because no other books are out like it, and I like that subject matter, like that weird forbidden type of romance stuff. I really enjoy that, and it's just like, that one fell flat. What am I supposed to do now? Be mad. So I'm mad. That was a fail if you count a fail, because it's halfway a fail because I did not read the rest of it because it was fucking horrible. The next book the last prompt on this list is a thriller with the creepiest cover, and for this one I chose Psycho by Robert Bloch, and I knew I was gonna love this. Unlike the other ones, I knew for sure I was gonna love this because it inspired the 1960s movie, which I do enjoy, and then the TV show Bates Motel, which is my favorite TV show ever, and I love it so much. And so I was like, I'm gonna like this, and I loved it. I like the book more than the movie because it matches up with the movie more than the TV show, but I love the book. Like, it was just amazing to be inside of Norman's head, and it was just so fun and to read. It was really done well, despite knowing the ins and outs of all the characters and everything and what was going to happen, plot twist, everything. It was done so well, and I really enjoyed myself. So that one was a pass. I did that right. I did not fail. That whatever. But what I mean is, I am done with this readathon now. I had a really fun time reading all these thrillers except for that one, and I don't know. I really had a great week of reading books. I have not read this much in a month or a week in a very long time, and I just had so much fun. So I'm very thankful to the host of this readathon for just like making it possible so I could like have the opportunity to read all these thrillers. Now I'm just off on a thriller rampage, and I'm going to most definitely be reading thrillers for the rest of my life as a normal occurrence because I am excited to get more into the genre and just find more that I like and stuff. So I hope you had a great ThrillerAthon. I hope you read as much as you could, and just know that whatever you did do, good for you. Don't feel like you like let yourself down or did too much. Like, I'm so glad, despite the books that I did not like, could not find, or DNF'd, it's fine because I did my best. I read some really great books, and that's what matters. So I hope you have a great readathon, like I just said, and I love you all. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you later with another one. Bye.